this event, I have only seen and heard of positive things. I didn't hear one thing about how her fans are toxic. I didn't hear one thing about there being too much spotlight on Caitlin Clark and it should have maybe been on the professional golfers that are there. We didn't hear any of that. Your rant video, I honestly just got so triggered.
In the world of women's sports, a single event just exposed a shocking divide. While one major league executed a flawless marketing masterclass, leveraging a superstar to create a national sensation, the other remained eerily, inexplicably silent. This isn't just a story about Caitlin Clark playing golf. This is a story about a missed opportunity of epic proportions, a glaring failure that has fans and experts asking one burning question. Why is the WNBA seemingly afraid of its own superstar? The recent LPGA Pro-Am featuring Caitlin Clark wasn't just a celebrity appearance. It was a mirror held up to the WNBA, revealing everything the basketball league has been doing wrong.
Caitlin Clark's golf debut just made me so upset with the WNBA and because the LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season.
If you've noticed a strange reluctance to fully embrace the phenomenon that is Caitlin Clark, you're not alone. Stick around, because what the LPGA just pulled off is a lesson in modern sports marketing that everyone needs to see. The LPGA's approach to Caitlin Clark's debut was nothing short of a strategic masterclass. They didn't just invite a basketball player to swing a club. They engineered a cultural moment, a blueprint for how a modern sports league can leverage star power to captivate a global audience. From the very beginning, they understood the assignment on a profound level. They saw the tidal wave of hype surrounding Clark, a force that had already rewritten college basketball viewership records and made her a household name. And didn't just ride it, they built a platform on top of it. This was about foresight.
She's so sweet, so nice. It's nice to kind of get to spend some time with her. We've messaged a little on Instagram beforehand, but to get to spend some time with her and to see the influence that she has on people, bring people out here, and to see how amazing an influence she is just for sports was really cool to see firsthand.
The LPGA leadership recognized that Clark's appeal wasn't confined to the hardwood. Her presence represented a gateway, a chance to introduce the precision and drama of women's golf to millions of potential new fans who might never have tuned in otherwise. The first genius move was the pairing, a decision that showcased their strategic depth. They placed Clark alongside the undisputed queen of women's golf, Nelly Korda. This wasn't a coincidence or a simple lucky draw. It was a deliberate power play, a fusion of two dominant forces from different athletic universes designed to create maximum impact. Imagine the biggest name in basketball teaming up with the top star in golf. The symbolism was powerful. It communicated unity and excellence across women's sports. The social media buzz was instantaneous and overwhelming, a digital firestorm.
Fans were really excited about that. There was so much buzz online. She was trending on Twitter, all of the things. And the LPGA was promoting the crap out of this event. And they also did something really smart by pairing her up with their currently, and the LPGA was so smart in doing this because they knew that there would be so many eyeballs on Caitlin. So if they put their number one golfer who is currently leading the sport and pushing the sport ahead, if they put her next to Caitlin for the entire event, that's just great. It's great for Nelly and it's great for everyone else.
Pictures and clips of Clark and Korda together, laughing, strategizing over shots, celebrating, flooded timelines, creating a crossover appeal that reached far beyond a traditional golf audience. But the LPGA's brilliance didn't stop there. This event was initially not even planned for television, treated as a standard Pro-Am. However, thousands of fans, desperate to watch Clark's every move, bombarded the organization with requests, flooding inboxes and lighting up social media comments. They demanded a live stream. They asked how they could watch. They created the demand themselves. The people spoke, and the LPGA, displaying remarkable agility, listened. They swiftly pivoted and put the event on television, and the result was a ratings goldmine. They turned the Pro-Am into must-see TV, all by recognizing the power of the star they had on their hands and having the courage to build their entire event around that undeniable reality.
Caitlin Clark's golf debut, and it is no fault of hers that I got upset. It is the fault of the WNBA. Previous video, how this Pro-Am event originally wasn't even going to be televised, but there were so many fans who were emailing the organization saying, how can we watch Caitlin? Can we come to the event? Can you live stream it? All of these things. And it ended up being put on television.
They showcased every moment, from her powerful drives to her interactions with fans, crafting a narrative that was as much about her infectious enthusiasm as it was about golf itself. While the LPGA was busy creating this perfect storm of promotion and excitement, the reaction from Caitlin Clark's own league was perhaps the most telling part of this entire story. The WNBA's silence was not just quiet, it was profound, a void so conspicuous it became louder than any tweet or promotional campaign could ever be. As social media lit up with highlights and viral moments, as major sports networks like SportsCenter and Bleacher Report ran segments analyzing her swing and her crowd-drawing power, the official channels of the WNBA said absolutely nothing. No congratulatory tweets, no behind-the-scenes photos, no recognition of their rookie sensation commanding national attention in a different sport during her own season. For fans, this was a glaring and confusing omission. It felt like watching a family member achieve something amazing and having the rest of the family pretend it never happened, creating a sense of dissonance between the audience's excitement and the league's apparent indifference. This silence powerfully amplified a criticism that has been simmering all season long among commentators and the fan base. Many have consistently accused the WNBA of failing to capitalize on the Caitlin Clark effect, of being strangely hesitant to put her at the forefront of their marketing, even as she smashed viewership records and sold out arenas across the country, demonstrably expanding the league's footprint. The LPGA Pro-Am became the ultimate piece of evidence for this argument, a real-time case study that highlighted what proactive promotion looks like. Here was another major sports league from a completely different discipline, showing the WNBA exactly how it's done. And the WNBA wasn't just failing to take notes, it was acting as if the class wasn't even in session, a stance that many perceived as either stubbornness or a fundamental miscalculation of how market in the modern era. This wasn't merely a missed tweet, it was a missed opportunity to co-opt a massive news cycle and redirect that energy and those new eyes back toward their own product and their ongoing season. This isn't just about one weekend of golf. The WNBA's conspicuous silence during the Pro-Am points to a much deeper and more persistent pattern that has defined much of Clark's rookie year. Throughout Caitlin Clark's groundbreaking rookie season, a narrative has grown from a whisper to a roar that the league itself is uncomfortable with the sheer, unadulterated magnitude of her stardom. Despite her undeniable and quantifiable impact, the instantly sold-out jerseys, the record-breaking TV ratings that executives have publicly celebrated, the constant mainstream media attention, the league's promotional efforts have often felt balanced to the point of dilution, as if they are trying to funnel her superstar energy into a collective vessel rather than letting it shine on its own. Pundits and fans alike have speculated that there's a conscious, perhaps even philosophical, effort within the WNBA's marketing apparatus to share the spotlight evenly, to avoid the perception of favoring one sensational rookie over the established veterans who have tirelessly built the league over years of struggle. While the intention to promote the collective talent of the WNBA is commendable and rooted in a sense of equity, the execution, in the eyes of many, has backfired spectacularly by seemingly holding back from fully unleashing Clark's star power in their national campaigns. The league has missed countless opportunities to hook new, casual fans who were initially drawn in by her name. The LPGA, in one weekend, demonstrated the powerful alternative. By pairing Clark with Nelly Korda, they didn't diminish Korda's status. They amplified it, introducing the world's best golfer to a massive new audience. They created a rising tide that lifted all boats, proving that celebrating a superstar doesn't have to mean erasing everyone else. In fact, it can be the very engine that introduces a wider audience to the entire roster of incredible athletes, as new fans who come for Clark often stay for the breathtaking skill of the league as a whole, a lesson the WNBA seems hesitant to learn. The fallout from this stark contrast was immediate and brutal in the court of public opinion. Social media platforms, particularly X, formerly Twitter, and sports-focused forums, became a battleground of frustration, with fans using the LPGA's success as a direct indictment of the WNBA's perceived timid strategy. Comments and posts flooded in, with many stating, "This is what we've been saying all season. The conversation was no longer just a theory debated by sports analysts on niche podcasts. It exploded into a mainstream topic, discussed on talk radio and in digital comment sections across the country. People were comparing the two leagues side by side, and the WNBA was not coming out looking good in these spontaneous, public focus groups. Sports commentators and journalists didn't hold back, with one analyst bluntly stating on a national broadcast, the LPGA treated Caitlin Clark like the superstar she is, while the WNBA acted as if her success was an afterthought, a soundbite that was clipped and shared thousands of times. This public shaming highlighted a critical vulnerability for the WNBA. In the age of viral content and digital engagement, perception is reality. By allowing the LPGA to control the narrative and paint a vivid, successful picture of how to celebrate a female sports icon, the WNBA ceded valuable ground. They allowed another league to define the moment, making their own inaction look even more like a strategic failure or an internal conflict. The fans weren't just disappointed, they were genuinely confused. Why wouldn't a league that has fought for decades for mainstream recognition, more sponsors, and higher ratings seize this golden, generational opportunity with both hands? The silence didn't just ignore an event. It ignored the expressed desires of a growing fan base, creating a rift between the league and its most passionate advocates. The implications of this entire situation extend far beyond hurt feelings or a temporary public relations headache. This is about the future of women's sports and the undeniable power of a crossover star, a fundamental shift in how leagues must operate in an attention-based economy. Caitlin Clark has proven she is a generational talent with a rare, almost alchemical ability to draw eyes from every corner of the sports world, transcending the traditional boundaries of her own game. Her presence at the LPGA Pro-Am didn't just benefit her. It acted as a powerful stimulus package for women's golf as a whole. The reports that showed a significant spike in ratings, merchandise sales, and social media engagement for the LPGA are not just isolated statistics. They are a data-driven confirmation of a new reality. This surge demonstrates that when a league strategically aligns itself with a cultural moment, it can capture lightning in a bottle, transforming casual curiosity into genuine, lasting engagement. The LPGA leveraged a single athlete to create a win-win scenario for their entire sport, providing a masterclass in modern audience acquisition. This is the modern playbook, and it's one that every sports league, from the most established to the most niche, is being forced to read. For the WNBA, the stakes in this new era are incredibly high, representing a pivotal moment that could define its trajectory for the next decade. The league is at a critical crossroads, facing a choice between two distinct identities. One path involves continuing with a cautious, collective-first marketing model that, while well-intentioned and rooted in a sense of parity and fairness, may be artificially limiting its own explosive growth potential. This approach, often described as lifting all boats equally, risks failing to recognize in the vast ocean of the sports marketplace, you first need a flagship, a dazzling, unmissable vessel, to make people notice the entire fleet. The alternative path, boldly illuminated by the LPGA's success, requires the WNBA to learn a vital, albeit uncomfortable, lesson that strategically embracing a superstar isn't about unfair favoritism. It's about smart, ruthless business strategy. It's an understanding that in the 21st century, narratives drive revenue. A compelling individual story is often the most effective hook to draw a mass audience into appreciating a collective effort. A transcendent star like Caitlin Clark functions as the most valuable asset a sports league can possess, a gateway. She is a human portal through which millions of viewers who may have never actively sought out a women's basketball game before suddenly find themselves invested. They tune in for her logo-range three-pointers, but in the process, they inevitably discover the ferocious defensive prowess of a Brittany Griner, the clutch scoring of an Aya Wilson, and the electric playmaking of Sabrina Ionescu. The superstar becomes the entry point, but the depth and quality of the overall league product is what converts those casual viewers into lifelong fans. This gateway effect is not a new phenomenon. It's the bedrock upon which modern sports media empires were built. The NBA's global explosion in the 1980s and 90s was inextricably linked to the magnetic, larger-than-life personas of Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and ultimately Michael Jordan. They were the individual stars who drew the world in, and the league's incredible talent base kept them there. By not fully leveraging Caitlin Clark gateway, the WNBA is not just making a marketing error. It is potentially leaving millions of new fans, billions of media impressions, and untold millions in sponsorship and broadcast revenue on the table. Resources that could then be reinvested to elevate every team and every player, achieving the very collective improvement the league seems to prioritize. The philosophical resistance to an individual-centric model is understandable, born from a long and hard-fought history, where women's sports were often overlooked in favor of men's. There's a deeply ingrained fear that anointing one star will undermine the decades of collective struggle and reinforce the very individualistic patterns the league has sought to overcome. However, this moment demands a paradigm shift. The battle is no longer just for recognition within the sports world. It is for dominance in the cultural conversation. The LPGA, by fully embracing Clark, understood that her star power wasn't a threat to their sport integrity, but rocket fuel for its visibility. The question for the WNBA is no longer if Caitlin Clark is a transformative figure, but whether the league's institutional framework has the agility and courage to be transformed by her. To ignore this lesson is to risk being remembered not for what it built, but for the historic opportunity it lets slip away. The blueprint for growth is there, drafted not by critics, but by the resounding success of their peers. The next move and the future of the league is now in the WNBA's hands. So, where does the WNBA go from here? The LPGA has handed them a perfectly detailed roadmap on a silver platter. The path forward requires a fundamental shift in strategy, a move away from reluctance and toward bold, star-embracing promotion. It means featuring Caitlin Clark prominently without apology, not to the exclusion of others, but as a centerpiece of a larger story about the league's excellence. It means seeking out cross-sport opportunities, just as the LPGA did, to place their athletes in new and exciting contexts. The ball is now firmly in the WNBA's court. They have a once-in-a-lifetime asset in Caitlin Clark, a player who can single-handedly change the trajectory of a sport. The question is no longer if she has that power. The LPGA just proved that she does. The question is whether the WNBA has the vision and the courage to finally, fully harness it. The silence has been broken, not by the league itself, but by the roaring success of its counterpart and the frustrated voice of its own fans. This is more than a wake-up call. It's a test. Will the WNBA learn, adapt, and rise to meet this moment, or will it watch from the sidelines as its greatest opportunity in a generation passes it by? What happens next could define the future of the league for decades. What do you think? Is the WNBA making a massive mistake by not building more of its marketing around Caitlin Clark? Or is their approach to promoting the entire league equally the right long-term strategy? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one. If this deep dive into the business of sports surprised you, show us some love by hitting that like button and subscribing for more content that goes beyond the headlines. Your support is what makes this channel possible. Thanks for watching, and remember, in the high-stakes game of sports marketing, sometimes the biggest plays happen off the court.